Evans.
And I'm Tiegan Bins.
And welcome to the Book Tunes podcast. Hello, and welcome to episode 3 of the podcast. I forgot how to count then. Which is bad because, I'm a drummer, so I should be able to count to 4. But anyway, this month is a special month. It is a Fearless Vampire Killer special.
Woo! I missed you.
So, thought we'd start off just saying our background in FVK. So, if you don't know Fearless Vampire Killers, they're a band from Suffolk, and they got together in 2008. We found them in 2012. They broke up in 2016, got back last year, and then they've just had a mini tour to celebrate. A tour of the North.
Woo! Yorkshire.
Yeah, and so I found FEK, I think in Kerrang magazine. That first little feature they had in it.
Yeah, I feel like that feels familiar. So
Yeah.
long ago. I don't even remember how we found them.
I know it was just before Bow Ties on Dead Guys.
Yeah.
Because I remember that coming out not long after. And then Militia of the Lost coming out not long after as well.
Banger of an album, by the way.
It is.
Such a good album. Harry was saying this. Harry's never listened to them before. Well, he has bits and pieces. But leading up to when we went to go see them, I was like, you've got to listen to him. And he's like, this is such a good album. How do you top it? They set the bar
with Unbreakable Hearts.
High. To say it were all self-done as well.
Yeah.
Like, just the quality of it, not even talking about the songs and the structure of the album, just the quality of the recording is so good.
It's so fast as well. We used to be able to sing along to that. We sing along now, we're like...
Yeah. Old people lungs.
Yeah. Unbreakable Hearts is my favourite, but you mentioning that they had a lot of help from Broken Control. And we don't want to say it.
Beep, 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 beep.
Beep, beep. He who shall not be named. Yeah, they had a big input from him. So it weren't really as self-made as Militia of the Lost. So yeah, you have bumped Militia of the Lost up there, haven't you?
Yeah.
But Unbreakable Hearts is a flawless album. It's a really good concept album.
Yeah.
And of course, concept's a big thing for FVK. They've not just got the albums, they've got the books. Have you read the books?
I started reading the first one, I feel like, because it was so long ago on my crappy little cheap Kindle. It was like a knockoff Kindle.
I
bought it on, and I remember reading it, but I don't remember anything about the book.
I remember reading the books, and when they had their own social media, Obsidian Bond,
yes,
they had little PDFs of extra stories. I remember reading them as well.
I think I sort of fell off the fandom from Obsidian Bond.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that was during the indie phase.
The indie phase. You weren't like other girls.
No.
Lawrence wrote the books with a bit of help from Drew. Yes. I don't know if Kay helped as well. He's writing a book now, isn't he?
Yes.
So I don't know if he had an input. Shane obviously does all the artwork.
Very good artist.
Yeah, I like how on board they all are, doing things themselves.
Yeah, it's very central.
Yeah.
No shame on bands that need people to be commissioned for artwork and stuff like that, but it's always good when you've got a mix. Be me. Yeah.
I mean, we've commissioned our friend Kia to do
the
artwork for this podcast, who we found through FBK.
Yes.
that was one of the good things about gigs, is going and like seeing people.
Yeah, and meeting friends, and because oh my god, Tim, get off the laptop. Cat blooper.
That's a cat.
Yeah, like I don't remember having a lot of friends in high school, but you just sort of have that connection intra fandom.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people, like, I still know, even at work, some of the clients are old fans that we used to be friends with. It's so weird. We're everywhere.
It is weird now because like I moved in with Ernurks and housemates there knew FVK, and these are people you wouldn't expect to know FVK.
Yeah.
But they also believed some rumours, which I'm not going to get into.
Yeah.
I don't think they're true.
Nah.
There's no evidence or anything to back it up. Like, it's all word of mouth, and it would have come out by now if it was true.
Yeah.
Don't be concerned, listeners. Don't be concerned.
Don't be concerned.
Please. Also, FVK, don't like shout at us for bringing that up if it's not true or anything. Like, don't shout at us, please. We love you.
Seen them a lot of times. I feel like
Yes.
they're the one band that I've seen the most, like double figures at least.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely in double figures.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, seeing McFly, if that I'm up to like my 7th, 8th time seeing them, then I'm definitely like 15th time with McFly or something. FEK even.
Yeah. Which
But
says
they're
a
always
lot
good.
about them. Go on.
Yeah. What I have found though, because we have just been talking about the fans, it's a lot more loving and supportive up north, and I'm not saying that because I'm a northerner. Like, I've been to
No bias.
lots of shows down south. I've been to Midlands. I've not been past Yorkshire. Like, I've not been up Newcastle or Scotland, but I've been further down, and it's quite cliquey and big down south. Whereas up north, it's, I think, just in general. I mean, up north is friendlier,
Yeah.
but I will say,
More
like,
polite.
FVK at the Dome, it was, like I said, clicky and bit, and then on the first in Sheffield, everyone was giving love.
Yeah. I remember you telling me. Did you go to
Yeah,
one in Camden? Do I remember that right?
I have been to one in Camden. Yeah.
Yeah, the recent one where they tried tricking us into believing it was a different band.
Oh no, I didn't go to that one.
I
I
didn't go
went
to that one.
to the Dome, the one in September.
Ah, right, yeah. But I remember you saying and getting sort of not mega anxious, but sort of nervous that it'd ruin it, because it does, and we've spoken about this before. The crowd
Yeah,
can ruin a show; it can make or break it.
yeah,
And I was a little bit nervous as well, knowing that because it's such a tight knit, smaller fandom. There's a lot of dramas
yeah,
between friendship groups within in the fandom, and sort of now being an adult and not a 12, 14-year old, you sort of get nervous for the beef,
yeah.
and the drama, and you just want to go and enjoy shows and not have to think about possibly kicking someone's teeth in.
I mean, FVK are heavily associated with Ashes to Angels.
Yeah.
I stopped going to them because the only person who made me feel welcome there was Krilly.
Yeah.
And it's the FVK fans that are also around that kind of fandom that are usually down south and give me the worries about FVK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I get you. But pleasantly surprised. I think
I
everyone's
think
grown
that's
up.
an understatement for April. It was for the start of the month.
Mm.
Like, I don't know, I was a bit worried there'd be some confrontation,
Yes.
but
Yeah,
then
definitely.
like I said, everyone was lovely, and we just were talking about landlords and work and dead cats.
Yeah.
It was so weird going from conversations that were just purely about FVK to like adult
Actual.
life.
Yeah. Because, like, I can't remember how old I was the last time I saw them. I want to say maybe 15. I don't think I was 16.
I would say you were younger than that.
Maybe younger, maybe 14. Because I feel like the last time I saw them was Cockpit, and that's been closed a while.
When I passed the Cockpit the other day and all writings off the wall, it broke my heart.
Oh no!
Yeah.
That's a shame.
What was I going to say?
A lot of memories there.
I broke off and started going around shows, like around the country, at 14. That was when we were sort of having a break in friendship.
Yes. The hiatus.
The hiatus. Which was brought on by other FBK fans.
Yes.
But yeah, so 13, 14 was definitely, I think, the age you were.
Like last there.
Yeah.
So that's a jump. That's nearly 10 years.
It
Not
is.
seeing them at Cockpit at like 14 to last month.
Yeah. I mean, it's popped up on my memories lately, that time that I went with Phoebe to Cockpit to see FBK. Were you there?
I feel like that popped up on my memories because I don't feel like we went together. I remember going with another friend, but
Because I think it's Phoebe and Katie I was with there.
Yeah.
There's no you in the pictures, so that must have been like the start of our hiatus.
I feel like potentially that is the same gig. I feel like that is that one.
Yeah, so however many years that was.
Yeah. Jeez, it's so weird because they've been such a influential part of me being a teenager and growing up and stuff like that, but it's really difficult to remember because it feels like it was so long ago, which it was in the grand scheme of things, but I talk like I'm an old person. I talk like I'm on my deathbed recounting early days, but
no, because we're like the ages now that they were the first time we went to see them at the Leopard.
That is crazy to think about, that we are the same age that they were when we first saw them and met them. Whoa. And now look at us, we're doing stuff.
We're doing stuff!
Just stuff, adult stuff.
Look at me, Mum! I'm doing it! I don't know what it is, but I'm doing it.
I'm doing something. It might not be the right thing, but it's something.
Shall we talk about that first gig at the Leopard?
Yes.
How cringy we were.
Oh God.
So, I think let's start. How old were we? I was 12, you were 11.
Jesus Christ. 11 years old.
You dressed somewhat fashionable for it, right? It was 2012, so let's see. Fashionable was not the word to describe anything.
I feel like everyone was in the Tumblr random era, like Whammers, Pizza, Galaxy style.
Oh, we were definitely Dan and Phil.
Dan and Phil, yeah, I was just gonna say the fandom. Everyone, I feel like as much as I cringe and I'm like, oh my God, I was the only one. When you look at most of the fans, everyone was into the same things. We were all in the Tumblr random era.
Oh yeah, I remember you were wearing like pink jeans. I think with the leopard print on. I might be imagining things at that point.
I feel like that was a late one. I feel like I was wearing purple dress shorts.
I don't think you've worn shorts. Actually, let's go find the pictures.
Let's find the pictures. I remember wearing them because on that one I wore a red tie that I bought from Claire's, and I remember talking to another fan because we both had the same tie.
Yes, and you were wearing your creepers, and Kay was like, "Oh, you look like Billy Joe Armstrong."
I feel like that might have been Corp.
Corp. Oh, maybe. I've got pictures. You were in a Fearless Vampire Killers t-shirt and jeans, and that's it.
Oh.
Although, no, you was wearing a vest with like a skull on. You must have changed to that later in the night. The FVK t-shirt.
Potentially.
I had the tie with the white skulls on and the black shirt and jeans. It must have been a later show you are the because I was thinking it was when you had your hair cramped as well.
Yes, that was the second time we went to go see him because I had purple Doc Martens.
Ah, yes.
There weren't Doc Martens, there were fakes. Of course there were. You
ain't got money for that shit.
Nah, not at 11 years old.
Not in 23 for my state. No one can describe anything in 2012 as fashionable.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
that was the time of Rihanna t-shirts and red trousers, so
Oh god,
absolutely
the
not.
chinos. The
Yeah.
chinos. Do you remember decathlons as well? The weird like gym
No.
shoes.
No.
They used to be so popular, I
Ooh.
think.
What were they like?
Let me show you a picture. The like gym shoes, the horrible. I think they were like made for like dancing. Why are they not coming up? Did they ever exist?
Maybe they're not called them.
Maybe not. They were they were like if you cross Vans with
Yeah.
like gym shoes. Oh my god. I'm sure they were called decathlons.
You're almost describing the shoes I wear every day there. The shoes
Oh.
I wear are like the pumps you'd do PE in, kind of.
Yeah, they sort of look like that.
Yep, you're describing what I wear every day.
Yep,
Okay,
yeah,
thanks.
they're literally just gym shoes.
Thanks.
Anyway.
Now I've been insulted.
It's fine. I bought some knockoff Crocs with no holes in and built-in socks for work,
Ooh.
and I'm obsessed with them to the point I now wear them outside, and I love them.
Oh, I'm going to treat myself to some Crocs.
I love
I need
Crocs.
some.
I used to hate them so much, just to be
Yeah.
cool. I hated them to be cool because I'm not like the other
No.
girls. I can't
See,
like what's mainstream.
what it was is when I was little and like Crocs first became a thing. My mum bought some dead cheap versions and they ripped my feet to shreds.
Oh, like the
But
jelly
now I'm
shoes.
seeing, yeah, and now I'm seeing everyone's like, they're so comfy. I'm like, I need some.
They are comfortable, to be fair.
Right, off the tangent of shoes.
Yes, we're talking about bands, not shoes.
Ah! Welcome to the Boop Shoe Podcast.
To be fair, we'd structure a whole episode about shoes and then talk about something completely off topic.
Talk
So.
about like mugs or something.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Boop Random Podcast. I remember the one of the openers, one they like called Haberdash or something.
Yes.
There was like a really weird name. I think I only remember them because they were cute, but you know.
Yeah, yeah. They had like the floppy hair,
Yeah,
floppy long hair.
floppy long hair, and it was
Yeah.
like right before Kira and Luke's birthdays, so we ended up just like giving them little key rings and that as presents.
Oh my god! Imagine doing that now. I'd die. I'd actually die. How embarrassing were we as like pre-teens?
Okay, I don't want to say it word for word, but do you remember my attempt, my 12-year-old attempt at flirting with a 23-year-old Drew? You remember.
If it's the thing I think it is, then
When you then we went, she don't mind. Yeah. When we passed the cockpit the other day, I said to Matt, because we went like down those stairs where we bumped into the Timids once, and I had the chopper chop.
yeah. Oh
And
no.
I'll give the context to that. So I had a chopper chop, my first chopper chop in ages. I was very excited. I was 14, and you know, lol, so random, quirky, and a silence came about while we were talking to Drew and Shane, and I went, and then there's me happily sucking.
Honest to God, if I met my former self and some of the I was gonna swear then, um, some of the stuff I used to do, I'd just smack me. I really would. Like, to the people I haven't spoken to since high school, I'm not like that anymore. I am not the same person. I'm completely different, I promise.
I mean, some of that's a bit bold, but you know.
Some of it's an overstatement. Sometimes I'm still a 12-year-old girl, but not all the time. I'm not as random as I used to be. I've deleted Tumblr from my phone. I'm not that bad anymore.
See, I'm still on Tumblr.
It got bad when they banned the adult stuff.
No comment.
That says a lot. Reddit for life.
Didn't realise you were that person.
Yeah, you can imagine me in a fedora with a neck beard and...
That's it. Let's create a Boop Tunes Reddit and you could run that, because I don't understand Reddit one bit. How many more embarrassing times do I have with FVK? I remember Luke mocking me because when things go quiet, I also tend to dance, and he he didn't mock, but he laughed.
Yeah. Maggie, get out of the drawer. No! I'm in my bedroom. The pants and socks drawer's open and she squeezed herself in it. Yeah, as fond as the memories are, when you think about them too much, you're like, God, what did I do that for?
It's embarrassing tweets and Facebook messages for me.
Yes, absolutely. Thinking that they were our friends, like, hats off to them. I feel like the fan base was a lot younger than they expected it to be.
Yeah.
And they dealt with it very, very well. But also, why as a 12-year-old did I think it was appropriate to message them like they were my friends?
I again, Facebook memories. The other day, you posted a fan fiction on one of their Facebook pages.
Oh no.
It
Oh.
was to embarrass me. That was your intent.
Ugh.
I almost messaged you and asked to delete it, but I was like, no, that's gonna sound rude.
Jeez. But I found my old DeviantArt.
Oh god, I've tried to delete mine and it won't let me
Yes.
because the email is not my email, and
Yeah,
I'm like,
I can't
why is it
remember
not
the
my email?
login, so I can't delete it. So, Carbon Footprint, is it Carbon Footprint?
Your online footprint.
Your online footprint is real, guys.
That's why I'm not letting my DeviantArt out.
Yes, I don't blame you. I just... it's not bad stuff, it's not incriminating stuff, but it's so
It's just cringe.
Who gave us the right? Who gave us the authority to do what we did? Oh god, I feel like it's because it was the first real fandom I was a part of. I grew up with Green Day and big sort of would you class them as classical rock now?
Green Day?
Yeah.
Oh,
Been
I
around
don't
for
want to
so
think
long.
about that.
Anyway, the bigger rock alternative bands that everyone knows of. So whether you're a casual listener or you're a hardcore fan, you're a fan of some sort.
Yeah.
So it was sort of the first sort of experience I'd had with being in a fandom, and the fact that it was so small as well. You don't know how to act. You go wild as an unrestricted kid on the internet with no parental supervision.
Where were our parents?
Where were they? They was egging us on. My mum absolutely loves FVK. She came to the gig with us. She was living her best life.
What I want to know is, why did my mum let me at 14 get on a train on my own down to Essex?
We were very mature for our ages.
That's because of trauma. It's not a good thing.
But you got to see FVK in a different place. Win-win.
True. I drank a lot of orange juice when I went down to Essex.
That's very random.
Yeah. Anyway, we watched Twilight as well, and because I was staying at Katie's house, and she pointed out that Kristen Stewart's eyebrows aren't equal in Twilight.
Oh no!
It
Please don't
bothers
tell me that.
If I have to suffer, so do you.
No. Well, to be fair, I didn't realise it was Robert Pattinson singing the song, the mumbly song.
Is it?
Yeah.
We should watch Twilight.
Yes, we should. Depression.
Welcome to the Boop Twilight podcast.
Twilight's my depression watch, so you know it's getting bad when.
I haven't watched it in ages. I remember us going again with Kia to see
Oh my
the last
god,
one,
Breaking Dawn
and
Part
then
2.
we went back to yours, and we were like, let's watch them all. And halfway through the first one, we were both asleep.
Yeah. Oh my god, Breaking Dawn Part 2. That again seems like so long ago. And also, this is related to Fearless Vampire Killers because there's vampires in it, so...
In it. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, later shows of FVK. Shall we just say, like, what was his favourite FVK show? Before breakup.
Before breakup, I'm gonna have to say Corp. Not the recent Corp.
The first one.
Yes. And it's the most memorable one for me because I feel like FEK have never had a bad show, in my opinion, from the older ones that I've been to. It's not that they weren't memorable because the stage presence they have, which I'm sure we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
The show that they actually put on is amazing every single time, which again, who would go and see a band like 12 times if they weren't good every time, you know?
Exactly.
But it's actually deadly waiting because I remember the sticky corp floor
I
and
forgot about
Lucy
that.
made us sit on the floor during one of the songs and then stand up and
Yes.
start jumping on one of the breakdowns, and that was insane. And I remember being so obsessed with Lucy. Like,
I remember you being obsessed with Lucy, but
she was
Lucy's
so pretty
cute.
and she still is, and I was like
Yeah.
so in awe of her. I was like, oh my
She's not
god.
aged a bit.
No, absolutely not.
Maybe she's a
Um
vampire.
Maybe, potentially, potentially.
Mm.
I just, or even I feel like you might say cockpit. Everyone, not the gig itself, but like favorite moments surrounding it. Being
Yeah,
outside on the steps with the talc and it going everywhere, and everyone just laughing and being connected, and it's just from a kid that, like I said earlier, never really had many friends. Even now I'm still not very social. I'm only just finding my feet. Like, for example, at work, I found a group of people that I really, really like, and I go out with them quite often. I have never had that before. Even as a nearly 23-year-old, I'm still a homebody.
am I
So,
still your best friend?
of course you are.
Yay.
I'm not very social, but just sort of taking a back seat and watching everyone have talc fights and
Yeah,
everyone being dressed in like old Victorian steampunky
yeah,
type. Everyone's there for the same reason, and you sort of feel so connected, and it's wholesome. It's wholesome.
it is. You reminded me then. I think the leopard is the best
Yeah, the
venue theme.
first, yeah.
But remember in the second when I didn't know talc needed to settle and I opened it and it went
Everywhere.
in my face.
That was so funny.
It was. It
It
was.
was. It
I
was
miss talc.
iconic.
Yeah. If this podcast gets a 5-star review on Spotify ever, we'll bring the talc
We'll
back.
bring the talc back. We'll unearth the pictures and
Yeah.
share them.
Yeah. I don't know if there's like any other like system or anything that we can aim for.
Yeah.
To be like, oh, this many. I mean, I suppose if we get like, I don't know, 20 listens,
Set the
you
bar
can.
low.
How have FVK like inspired you to
Hmm.
do shit?
That is such a good question because there was such a big part of growing up that it's difficult to say what they have because there's literally most things like the style, even down to like fashion and clothing.
Yeah.
Obviously, not when we used to first see them because diabolical. Who wears leopard print jeans? Jesus
Boots with the fur.
and
The
a
whole pub
Claire's
were
tie.
looking at her.
She.
She hit the floor. Sheffield go low, low.
I just feel like this is so difficult to articulate because so many things were influenced by them. I want to say like gig etiquette is one very very big one because I feel like it is the same in most like alternative gigs that you go to, but being in a sold out, sweaty, too
Yeah.
warm, horrible, small venue with a lot of people literally sardined with each other.
I love it.
I absolutely love it, 100% love it. But I feel like they were always very, and most bands are nowadays, but they're very look after one another.
Yeah.
If someone falls, you pick them up, and I learnt that from them.
Yeah.
Which I feel like factors into the fact that I've seen them so many times and it was the first band I ever saw. But comparing them to the Blackout, we went to see the Blackout,
Oh, yes.
and how rude some of the crowd was.
Yeah.
Um, it does sort of put stuff into perspective, but I feel like taste in music in a whole might have been sort of influenced by them. I mean, like I said, I grew up on Green Day and My Chem, stuff like that, but I feel like I got more into alternative bands because of FVK.
Yeah.
Um,
They really are like a hidden gem.
yes,
Gem?
they are.
Gem.
Again, this is what Harry said on the way home from the gig. He's like, how
Yeah.
come they didn't get bigger than what they did? Like, they're so
I think it's
good.
the makeup.
Mm.
I think this is partially why they took a break.
Yes, I do feel like Kia tweeted recently that they applied for a festival of some sorts and they
Yeah.
got told no because they wore makeup, and it's like,
I remember that, yeah.
okay, and most men do nowadays. Like, I see a lot of men wearing nail polish.
David Bowie. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
David Bowie.
exactly, and he's like the pinnacle of most music. He's been around for a very, very long time.
He's no longer around.
He's still around in our hearts, in our spirits.
I've got the tattoo. He's around every day.
Yes.
Wherever my stinky feet are, he's there.
But even
Because,
now, like, we're in 2023 and after COVID and everything, people, I don't get why people are still so put off by what people look like.
yeah.
They could look like flying spaghetti monsters for all I care, but they've got banging tunes, so what does
Yeah.
it matter? Like,
I'd
when
love
you've
to
got,
see a flying spaghetti monster.
yes, that would be great, to be fair. But like when you've got a good band that have got solid songs, a solid
Yeah.
fan base that you know are gonna bring money to the festival
Because
by going and buying tickets.
people will travel for FAK.
Exactly. I don't get why they said no, apart from makeup.
Stupid.
It's very silly.
Stupid. People are very silly.
Why are people so silly?
People are very, very silly.
Question of the month. Why are people silly people?
Oh my god, that reminded me. We were gonna incorporate that who would win in a fight into every episode.
Who would win FVK or a festival management company?
No, alright, so we could do this two ways. So last month, Youngblood won. People think Youngblood would win in a fight against Matt Healy. Do we now say who would win in a fight, Keir or Youngblood?
Like, carry it on.
Or
I like the
Kieran
structure.
Lawrence?
I like the structure. I feel like we should carry it
Yeah.
on. So,
Right. We'll do the whole of FVK then. Who would
Youngblood
win in a
versus
fight?
the entire members of FVK.
I still feel like it'd be Youngblood.
Well, I don't know. I feel like he's a scrappy Donny lad, but also against 5 people.
I know, but FVK don't seem like physical fighters to me.
It depends. It depends on the context of the fight. If Youngblood had done something very wrong,
Yeah.
he's getting
They could have
squished.
a fight with words.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Lawrence could say a big word and just confuse him, and then the Timids just trip him up and they're done.
A
Or they
musical
just
fight. Who would win in a musical fight?
Ooh. Anyway,
Musicianship wise.
yeah. We'll get that post up. I should probably wait until after the podcast comes out.
Yeah, for
I think I did it a
context.
bit too early last time.
For context.
Yeah. Yeah. And we also thought about bringing in a band of the month. So I guess this month it is Fearless
Yeah.
Vampire Killers.
I feel like that would
They're
be
the
good.
band of the month.
Good structure.
Yeah. We've also got more stuff, but I've not arranged any of it yet, so we're not talking about it.
Drum roll. Sneak
But I'm not
peek.
talking about it.
Exciting times to come, but not yet.
If I can get in touch with people that I need to get in touch with.
Yes.
Anyway. Yeah, FEK are a very inspirational band.
Yes.
I wouldn't be a writer without them. All my music, that's to do with them as well. Very good.
Yeah. I feel like because they're so personal as well, and
Yeah.
how many bands can people say that they have been to see multiple times and have met every time?
And are on like name bases with them.
Yeah, like not even that. Like I will say, I'm not offended by the fact that I didn't get remembered by any of them because I also acknowledge the fact that I wasn't stood directly next to you when we were talking to them, and I do look completely different. So I'm not offended, guys. Not even
We're
mildly
like
salty.
we're like that TikTok sound where it's like when you see Tiegan without Vicky. Where's the rest of you?
Where's the rest of you? Yeah, like yeah, yeah, definitely. They paid more attention to Harry actually because I was like, he's new. I've been coming here for years. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Please remember who I am. And they were like, whoa, no way. You've never been to see us. How are you doing? Wow, shaking his hands, and I'm like, that's a good impression, but what about me? Pick
What
me.
about
Choose
us?
me.
What about
Oh, please.
everything we've been through? What about trust?
I wasn't entirely a pick me, but I was considering it. The thought was there.
Uh, just final thing, like before we get on to the Kathy show for a bit. When you listen to a FK now, do you feel theatrical? Like you could get up and do a really dramatic performance of them? It makes you want to get the eyeliner on, cosplay again.
Yes, absolutely. When I was getting ready for the show, I had them on and the music videos in the background, and I was like, I am pumped. I'm hyped. Like, I said this to my mum on the way there. It's not difficult because I still get excited when you go see bands, especially if you've never seen them before, or like you really, really love the band. But I
Yeah.
don't get that sort of like mega like hyped, really pumped, excited anymore because I'm like, it's a show. You know, I'm an adult. I'm going. It's all planned. I'm excited. We'll go. We'll enjoy it. We'll come home. You know, we'll reflect on it. But for that show, it was literally like I was a preteen again. I was like, I'm so excited. I'm going to put eyeliner on. I'm listening to him. It was so strange. Like, I haven't felt like that in a long time. And to say I was nervous about the crowd, like a couple of days before, actually getting ready and
Yeah.
in the process of traveling there, I was like, I am so ready for this.
All I could think was, holy this is the same feeling I would have in the car with my dad, but it's now with my fiance.
Yes, exactly. But yes, back to your point, I usually, because being like a ex musician, because I was never really a proper musician, but from someone
Yeah.
who has played in bands, listening and going to like a really, really good show, you go and you come home and you're like, I sort of want to be in a band again. I sort of want to do stuff. But when we went to
Yeah.
see them, I was like, this is it. This is exactly what I want to do if I had the capabilities to do it. Small
If you
show.
could perform a song with them, which would you do?
Oh, that's such a good question. This is journalist Vicky coming out.
Well, that's me.
Oh, I might be controversial and say a song that's not on Militia of the Lost.
Oh no.
So
Cancelled.
controversial. Ban the podcast.
I mean, we've been controversial in the past, but
I want to say your favourite song from the EP that they did.
Death or
It
Disgrace.
is such a banger. It is insane how hyped that song gets you. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it.
Go
Like,
listen to it.
oh
Even if
my
you have
god,
listened to it, go listen again.
it's such a good song.
It's
Like,
the best song.
how it
I've been singing it
changes,
this week. That's
it,
really weird.
it does a U-turn and then it flips back on itself, and it's such a hyped and bouncy song. I love it so much. That would be it. That would be it.
Ah, yes. What about a Lawrence song, though?
Ooh, also a good question.
Mm.
Classic. Gotta be classic. Could we burn?
I was just thinking that.
It's got to be the classic.
Yeah. I was thinking that or Exploding Heart Disorder.
Oh, it's just so good. And the harmonies in it as well. Oh my god.
I think I'll have to agree with both of yours then.
Both of them.
But so now I have a proposal for Fearless Vampire Killers.
Ooh.
You should do a show with the Boopets.
The Boopets.
FVK featuring the Boopets.
Will be the backing vocals for both songs. or we could learn the bass, so Drew could just do the entire vocals by himself. That would be good.
I did learn Death or Disgrace on bass.
Oh my god.
Whether or not I remember it is a different story altogether.
Drew is an underrated singer, by the way.
He is.
And I'm not just saying this because, like, there's a very slight chance they might listen to this and get flattered, but he needs to sing more. He's such a good musician, and I feel like, yes, Kia's very good, yes, Lawrence is very good. I feel like Shane gets underrated as well. Luke's a good drummer, but Drew
He's a great drummer.
Is outstanding. Like, oh my god.
It said in They're at War with the Thirst, though, like he's gone and done a degree in it all.
Yes,
he understands it all.
Yeah.
It shows.
Yes, it does.
I mean, I've reviewed people that are like straight out of music school who aren't at all showing their knowledge. Like 13 tracks of the same song on an album. Like, it's not good.
Yeah.
And I've been nice about it before anyone like kicks me for in on a new band. I gave them constructive criticism. Okay, I'm a good journalist, right?
She doesn't know everyone.
I'm not like the other journalists. Okay, we'll go to the Kathy show now. The Kathy show.
Hello and welcome to today's show. This is the Caffeine Show, where today I have another lovely guest with me, a lady called Linda. Hi Linda, how are you?
Hi Kathy, I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm okay. So you're all the way down south and I'm up in north of England.
No, I'm actually in the West Midlands.
Are you?
Yes, in the West Midlands.
Ah, so we're a bit closer than we thought we were.
A bit closer than we initially thought.
So Linda, would you like to introduce yourself to our listeners?
Yeah, so I'm Linda. I help people that struggle with neurodiversity in getting support while they're waiting support for the system. And yeah, that's what I do.
Fantastic. It's a good job that, like, helping people, because these days with all the cuts in the services and stuff like that, like, people really like desperate to find that proper support and advice, aren't they?
They are, and I find that a lot of them come to me because they need support, but they need support in getting support.
Yeah.
And there's no sort of crossover service that does that anywhere.
No.
There's no NHS service that does that or social service that does that.
No.
So kind of that gap where people tend to fall through when they really, really are in need of support and they just need a bit of direction. And that's essentially what I do.
That's wonderful. So to the topic of the podcast that we've been doing has been songs that mean a lot to us personally, or any songs that are like anthems, personal anthems that have got us through significant or even challenging moments in our lives. And I know that we spoke a little bit beforehand, you have picked 3 just belters. What great songs. Do you want to tell us about them?
The 3 songs I've picked, I think people will definitely know to sing along to, 100%. And if you're an 80s child like myself, you probably grew up as a teenager listening to one of these and know it word for word. They mean quite a lot to me, yeah. So one of them, sorry, go on.
Yeah, what is the first song then?
So the first song is actually Raw by Katy Perry.
Yeah.
And that means a lot to me because anybody that's ever been around people that suffer with communication skills, autism, mutism, or any situation where you feel like you can't speak up, that is the song for you. It's about releasing your voice and not caring what other people really think when you say, you know, what you need. And it relates to me on a personal level because I have close relatives that have struggled with mutism in the past, and the highlight of conversation at home and not being able to stop, and then they walk out the door and they cannot physically speak, and that's a struggle for them.
Yeah.
So that song is definitely for them.
Oh, it's a great song. I play it a lot on my my DJ nights. I've noticed, especially children, young people, women, anybody who's had struggles react very, very, like, you know, positively to that song.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can relate to the lyrics. I think they're pretty diverse, right? You can attach meaning to them.
Yeah.
And I think a song like that can mean different things for so many different people.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think that's what makes it that floor filler. It makes it that sing along. You know, one that everybody gets emotional to, everybody laughs or cries to, and I just think it's a great song.
Yeah.
To represent that.
It is, and I love like your interpretation of it as well. So, what is the second song that you've got for us, Linda?
So the second song I've got is "Because of You" by Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah.
Again, that is definitely another anthem for anybody that's struggled.
Mm-hmm.
And when you realise why you've struggled, that song can really hit home.
It's a survivor's song, isn't it?
Yeah, you can really take a lot from the lyrics of that song. And again, just like the first one, I think that can invoke a lot of different things for a lot of different people that have struggled with relationships with parents, with partners, you know, and things like that. So I definitely cross the other side of the road so I don't get hurt on occasion, and have done on many occasions.
Yeah.
So that one is definitely for anyone that connects with, you know, struggles of having to avoid relationships for your own sanity.
Yes, yeah, definitely. It means a lot personally to me, that song. You know, I was brought up by a narcissistic mother, parent who was abusive, and I know I'm in a support group, and I know from people around the globe in this support group that, you know, that is our survivor's anthem.
Yeah, she did well, right, writing that.
It came from her personal experience, didn't it?
They did great.
Yeah.
With that song, and she sings it with some serious passion behind it. I think it must mean something to her personally too.
Yeah, I did read. You don't
get that kind of sound without the emotion.
No, I did read giving an interview once, and I know I think it's about her father and her experiences with being put down and not being brought up very positively. So yeah.
Oh, she nailed it.
She did.
And she nailed it.
That leads us on to our third song.
So my third song is pretty special today, actually, especially, which is total coincidence, because when we first set this up, we had no idea that it was going to be today.
Yes.
And you had no idea of the three songs that I had. So my final song is "Every Step I Take" by Puff Daddy and Faith Evans. And the reason it's special today is because it's actually my best friend's 40th birthday.
Yeah.
And we met at school. And at that time of our lives, we both lost somebody very close to us within short space of the time of each other.
Yeah.
And that year was when this song came out.
That's so I'll Be Missing You.
Yeah, not only is it very relevant to both of us individually in that, but we used to spend hours and hours singing that song word for word. And the strange thing that we actually found out later in life, because we're born 3 months apart, was that in the time period that those 12 weeks are, the original Police song, "Every Breath You Take," was actually at number 1 those 12 weeks.
That is
that song
is amazing. That is an awesome coincidence. That's amazing.
She has been with me every single step I have taken from that day to this, and I hope she's with me for every single step I continue to take.
Oh, how beautiful. And what's your friend called?
So her name is Rose, and I like to wish her happy birthday, actually. It's her 40th today.
Happy birthday,
so I think
Rose.
when she hears this, it's definitely going to hit the note.
Yeah. And again, what a song, it's got a sample in it that's taken from a fantastic Police song, like you said. So that was number one back, 1983?
Yep, that's it.
Exactly 12 weeks. So from the March to the June, is it?
That's right. Yeah, wow. So the space between those birthdays, the song was at number one.
Yeah.
And we didn't find that until years later as adults when we were looking into the history of the song because it meant so much to us. And we realised that we were too young at the time to realise that it was actually from the Police song Sample.
Yeah.
And it just happened to be number one at the time that we were born. But yeah, that song means a lot.
Oh. And then the Puff Daddy version, that was 1996?
Yes, that's right.
And they brought that out as it was like a tribute, wasn't it, for Notorious B.I.G.?
Yeah, that's right. It was a tribute when he passed away.
Yes.
And obviously, they talk about him going to heaven and stuff like that, and that's why it was really relevant for us at the time. Because obviously we'd lost two very, very close people in our lives, and that really, as a teenager, that hits home regardless.
Yeah.
But I think with that being so popular, we heard it everywhere.
It was played everywhere during that time, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, we heard it everywhere, and it has become a club classic.
It has,
Let's face it. I think if you were a teenager around that time and you don't know that song, I'd like to know where you were. If you can't hum along to that song at least, then you must have been hiding under a rock with no radio. It was everywhere. We couldn't avoid it, and it's become our anthem.
Yes.
It is our anthem. It's our song.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Thank you for joining me today, Linda. That's been amazing. Great song choices. Quite powerful meanings as well.
Yeah, they all hit home, I think, quite a lot of them. For various other people too, right? And I think that's why some of them are so popular.
Lovely. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kathy.
Bye.
And now we're back.
Woo! Thank you, Kathy.
Yeah. Kathy, there with Linda. Thank you. Right, so let's actually talk about the 1st of April.
Yes.
2023.
April Fool's Day. 3-year anniversary since I got engaged, actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, isn't it?
And Harry's mum's birthday. And Diesel Binz's birthday.
My best boy.
He's such a good boy.
How old is he now then?
I think he's like 10. He's an old boy.
Fuck.
Anyway.
Do you want to go about how your day was first?
Yes, so I actually went to work that morning. But I had a half day, so we're fine.
Oh,
unless it was a Saturday. Was it a Saturday?
It was a Saturday.
I feel like I was at work anyway, because I finish at 12 on a Saturday.
I think you were at work.
I think I was at work. Anyway, 1 o'clock, rolled in the door. I didn't even have a nap. Did not have one singular shut-eye. I got a shower, I had something to eat, and I was getting ready early.
Ooh.
Because I was that hyped. I was so excited. I think, I was excited because I'd not seen him in so long. I was excited because I knew it was going to be a good show. I was excited because my mum was coming, and she was excited, and for Harry to experience it for the first time as well. That was very exciting. I was just really excited. Very excited.
All exciting.
Yes. I did rope my mum into driving us, because even though I'm fully capable of driving, I also wanted to drink. Which, to be fair, I don't usually do at gigs. I think I've only ever drunk at one other gig, which was Muse in Manchester, but I only had 2 because it was very expensive.
Oh.
Yeah.
Where was it?
It was the big arena, the outside one. Emirates?
The one where we saw Harry?
No, the other one.
Oh, okay. The football one.
The football one, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. £5 for a tiny bottle of £5. Woof.
Oh.
But yeah, my mum drove us. Sheffield, not really too far of a drive from us, so it wasn't too bad. Traffic were not too bad. We did set off later because we didn't want to be like stood outside waiting. The queue weren't that long, even though it was sold out.
I mean, you got here after doors.
Yeah, and was the queue bad?
When it got to like the time of the doors, it was quite long, but they had 2 shows going on as well, so I don't know if it was all FEK fans. But when I got there at about 6, there was just like 2 other people.
Yeah, I mean there was a bit of a queue when we went, but I don't think there were many door staff, so I feel like that
it was really weird.
Yeah,
considering like last time we'd see them, people would be queuing all day.
Literally camping.
Yeah.
Even though it was a small venue and you'd be close to the stage no matter how far away you were.
Yeah.
But no, it went too bad. We got there after doors, like you said. Got in. I will say, small venues like the one we went to for Stone, like last week. I love how they work because the tickets wouldn't scan. But they have a list of names and surnames of people that have bought tickets. Like the olden times.
Yeah, we saw the Nightmares at Boom last week, and they didn't even ask for tickets. They were just like, we just need your name, it's on list.
Yeah, like I get it's different when it's bigger venues. They've got, if they're to capacity, they don't want people pretending to go in and stuff like that. But it's just the informality of it all. It's just so relaxing. Because you're not stressing about, my name on my Ticketmaster account is actually my old surname, so I always stress when I go because I can't change it. I probably could, but because my email's still in my last my old surname, I just never bothered to change it. So I always stress, especially like just after COVID and just after they brought the stricter ticket sales thing in, that I were going to get turned away. Even though I've got ID and it's the same date of birth and it's the same first name and I can show them the card that I bought it on, it always terrifies me going to big gigs that they're going to turn me away.
Yeah. I can imagine that.
But it was just so relaxing from the get-go. We came in, the merch was already set up, people were just relaxing. We saw half the members.
Sorry.
I was just going to say we saw half the members before the gig actually started.
I was just going to say new layout of the corporation.
Yeah, it's so strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the stage and like the bars and everything are the same, but they opened that back room up, didn't they? Rather than just having the one main room.
It was wild.
It was very strange.
Sorry, carry on.
But I loved it so much. From the get-go, you just knew that it were going to be like the vibes were on point.
Yeah.
The Nightmares were so good. Like, I'd never really heard of them before. And I remember you panicking because my sister was supposed to come with us, so we had that extra ticket, and then everything happened with your tickets. You couldn't find them, and they got you in. This is the beauty of small gigs, small bands. Like, obviously, all bands have got to start somewhere, but my heart is with small bands.
I was listening to them on the Sapning podcast, and they all have like experience in the industry already. They've already been in bands, and that's why they sort of like know what to do, and they're already like picture perfect band.
Yeah, because they've had that. They're not like a brand new band.
And they are lovely people.
Yeah, they do really seem like it.
They let me interview them for an assignment, and then sorted my issue. And when I saw them last week as well, they were all, happy to see me and everything.
Oh, bless them. But they were really good. I wouldn't say I'm particularly picky with bands. I know we're talking about support brand Supremacy, so I'm sure we'll mention Nightmares again.
That will be next week.
But I really like them. I really like them. I feel like support bands have so much pressure put on them because they've got to set the vibe, they've got to get you hyped up. They did such a good job. Like,
they did.
I feel like maybe not the majority, but quite a few people that went didn't know them, had never heard them before, but everyone was still vibing. The problem I have with support bands is people, like, you have a dead crowd. The crowd will just stand there and watch them, and it's like, you've got to move a little bit because it makes the band more comfortable, it makes the crowd, the vibes, but everyone, like, surrounding us were vibing, and it were really good. Really like that.
Yeah. They are so good.
And then FPK, it was just like old times. And
it was.
I feel like change is good sometimes, but why would you change something that's already perfect?
Exactly.
It did feel different. It was more energetic. Drew blew my mind. I was not used to him having that much presence on stage. Not that he never had a stage presence.
Yeah.
It was more reserved, and I don't know if it's just got to the point where, we're all here for the same reason. We already know that the fans that are coming, we might as well enjoy it, and you could tell that they was enjoying it, not just putting on a show for us, but all the members enjoyed it. Kia doing the little jokes, like, not just
him
interacting.
running around, he almost had Drew energy.
Yeah.
And Lawrence.
All of them. Lawrence as well. My mum actually said this. She's like, I can't believe how confident Lawrence has got.
Yeah.
And again, it's not that he didn't have a stage presence before. It's not that he had that lack of confidence, but you can tell that they're now grown up. They're a mature band.
I mean, they said on stage, sorry, we forgot how to be a real band.
Yeah. I made it more like a real band because it makes you think they're real people. They've got real feelings. They're not just statues performing songs on a stage like sometimes you feel when you go to bigger concerts, and it just made it feel real. It was more personal, like not just interacting with each other, which is always good. I love to see that.
FEK is the only band you can go to where the crowd will heckle with love.
Yes.
And it's like fully with love. Like, I'm sure people have good intentions when they heckle at other bands, but it still feels off.
Like, it's comedic. It was almost comedic. It was so funny, and like them interacting. This is what I was going to say. Not only interacting with each other, but interacting with the crowd. You don't really get that a lot. I mean, you do. You get like crowd surfing, and I know like Green Day, they bring kids up and they let them keep the guitars, and that is their thing. They've done that for a while and probably will continue to do that. So you have like the little things that they interact, and I suppose it's more difficult with a bigger venue. It was just so nice, and again, wholesome. Wholesome keeps coming up for me. It is
a wholesome.
It was nostalgic in a good way.
Yeah.
I thought I'd get quite emotional, because like most of the fans, I dare say, probably had tough times growing up listening to them, trauma, stuff like that, and I was worried that it was going to take me back to a time where I wasn't good mentally and that I was struggling, and that would sort of like overface positivity of going and experiencing it. But it actually didn't. It was so nice.
Yeah.
And it sort of reminded me why I went to see them so much, because it was, if not the only good thing that I had to look forward to.
It's a safe place.
Early teen. And it was really nice. It was really nice. And nostalgic in a good way.
Yeah. I, in that show, felt 13 again.
But not in a bad way.
No, not in a child coming out needing protection kind of way.
Yeah.
In a nostalgic, happy for the first time in years. Not that I've not been happy in years, but
Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
That kind of happiness.
Yeah. Like the childlike excitedness and maybe even naivety to think that this was it. Like, this is such a good time. Everything else doesn't matter. This is it. This is the moment. And I feel like even as an adult, it's difficult to sort of live in the moment. You get into a daily routine. You wake up, you go to work, you come home, you have something to eat, you go get a shower and you go to bed. And especially personally, I find it difficult to live in the moment because things just happen around me. I don't know if this is what it's like for everyone. It might be a mental illness thing. It might, part and parcel of just being an adult. It happens. You get into routines. It gets boring. I will say, I had high expectations of being an adult. I was like, yeah, you get to do so much exciting things. I'm rarely excited anymore. I get excited when one of the cat sits in a funny position. That's as exciting as I get.
No, because my most exciting time at the minute is when one of the boys yawns.
Yeah, exactly. It's the little things that you get excited for, like mundane things that you didn't really think would matter that much, but you get
No.
into such a routine, and not living in the moment is the whole spiel I was trying to think. But I feel like not just with FVK, but going to concerts on a whole is one of my favourite things to do, because you just step back. You don't have to worry about anything for a few hours. You're just there. You're listening to good songs. You're breathing the same air as hundreds, if not thousands, of people who have bought tickets to do the exact same thing. You're just there to have a good time, and it's so refreshing. And I find that with most gigs, but the FVK one that we went to especially, like, I came home and I was like, oh my god. My ears were bad. I will say that my ears were bad for a few days.
Oh
The
my
downfalls of small venues.
I was so achy at the end of it. I was moving like an old lady.
The little Zimmer free.
Yeah, I was like, I couldn't lift my arm like up past my head. My knees weren't bending. Oh
How
my
did we do this
God.
as 13 and 14-year-olds? How did we
Oh
do
God.
it?
Every few months as well.
Jeez. But no,
Ugh.
it's very humbling and wholesome and nostalgic, and it was such a good all-round gig. Even down to the set list, there was such a good mix of like the older songs and the newer ones. Like, I think we touched on, I not sort of fell out of love with them, but I didn't really focus on them as much. I still listened to them, I still liked them, but the newer stuff, I think the newest one that I know is sort of like, I know Exploding Heart Disorder, or I did know, obviously I know them now. Neon in the Dance Halls, and maybe that's as far as my newer knowledge went at the time
Really?
that they was out. And I don't know why, I couldn't tell you why. It's not that it didn't interest me, there was other stuff, and I weren't listening to sort of like alternative music at that time. It was strange. Oh my god.
That scared me to death. Was that a cat fight?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell if it was a cat fight or your automatic spray.
Very similar, very similar.
It's a very similar sound.
But no, I don't know why. Like I said,
Yeah.
it's not that I weren't interested or excited. I gave it a listen. I was like, "Yep, this is a good album. Cool." I weren't as obsessive over it as I used to be. I think that's what it was. But it was a good mix of the stuff that they did. Even the acoustics song that they did.
The acoustic version of Regret.
Yeah, that was so good. And I didn't expect that. I feel like they might not have done.
It set the tone they were going for.
Yeah. Again, this might just be escaping my memories, but I don't ever remember them doing anything like that before. Like having a softer sort of.
Yeah, no, I think that is a newer thing because they do it in memory of Stevie D.
Yeah.
Bless him.
What a good man. He was such a good man.
Good laugh.
But yeah, which again is also refreshing, because as good as it is to have a set list of back-to-back hype, very high energy songs, as older adults now,
softness.
As older adults, you can't really deal with that as well. Like you said, we were achy.
Yeah.
It was bad. It's nice to have that minute of just quiet and relax. But no, I really liked that they did.
Yeah.
But no, it was a good gig. Probably one of the best that I've been to this year.
Definitely.
And they set the bar so high for themselves that sometimes I sit and I think, how are they going to top it? How are they going to make the next thing just as good as before? and I don't really think they do anything different, but the next time you see them or hear them or whatever, it's just as good.
Yeah.
And they're very good at hitting that mark, I will say that.
Yeah.
They're such an underrated band. I don't get it why they're not as big as they should be.
Hopefully someday.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, do you want them to?
Yeah, exactly. And they might not want to. I mean, there's a lot of responsibility that comes in being a big band. You get record labels. You have to pump albums out that maybe you don't put your entire heart into. Yeah. There's bigger venues, which means you've got to put on a bigger show that's more exciting.
Yeah.
It's difficult, and I can sort of see why, if they didn't want to, why they wouldn't want to.
Yeah.
But they need a bigger listening bit. People need to know about them. I feel like no one knows.
Even if you don't care enough to go see them, you need to know them.
Yeah.
I mean, I would recommend going to see them. You know, that's what this podcast is all about. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, my day for it was full of journalism. I did an interview in the morning, and then I did an interview with the Nightmares. And even though, because since starting journalism and doing these live reviews, even if I'm not reviewing the show, I'm in my head criticizing it.
Yeah.
I'm in journalist mode. And you might feel it now after doing like the podcast, constant think about things you can say about it.
Yes. Yeah, maybe not so much as what you do, but like the Stone gig that we went to, I was like, oh, I've got to remember that to mention as like a negative point, and this is a positive. And that show actually gave me the idea to mention doing venue sizes as a possible one, because there were some issues that we had at the gig that maybe wouldn't have happened if it was a bigger venue, but then the positives from the venue might not have happened if it was a bigger venue. So I think that's interesting. But no, I get exactly the same. I'll go to a gig, and it's not that I don't enjoy it as much as I would before starting, but I'm consistently like, oh, that's a thing I could mention. Oh, that's a thing I need to remember.
Yeah, but like, even though I have this headset, seeing FVK, I was taking notes because I have done a review on it, which I'll post when it's been marked because it's for an assignment. But I could still live in the moment even though I was like taking these notes, which is a really good mix.
Yeah, because it was such a good gig that you could sort of analyse it and go, here are the points to thing, but it was also so relaxing that it sort of took away from the analysing bit to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I sort of get it, again, spieling off completely topic, working in veterinary. I showed Harry a TikTok. It was a before working in veterinary and after of like being around dogs.
Yeah.
You can't just fuss a dog now. I've got to look at its teeth. I've got to look at its ears. You know, and I'm not even a nurse. I say just an ACCA. ACCAs are important as well, but I'm not medically qualified in any way, and I still look for stuff like that. So very similar to you, I'm not doing a journalism degree, but I still look for things now, being partially involved.
Yeah. Just for the listeners that don't know, an ACCA is an animal care assistant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or VCA is veterinary care assistant. I think it depends on where they go. Or a PCA, podcast care assistant.
That could also be me with my history in care. Look at us together. We can do people and animals.
No, you're podcast care lead.
Oh, okay. Okay.
PCL. Oh God. This is the point of podcasts. I love just spieling and not having a worry in the world, talking about shoes, and other stuff. I can't even remember what we spoke about.
All we had to talk about this month
was one
Fearless
thing.
Vampire Killers.
One thing. It's like I'll listen back to the podcast when you send it, before you upload it, and I'm like, Jesus, I spoke some right.
There's never not been a time when we haven't just chatted.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I
what it
send
is.
you us old posts as well on Facebook.
That should be
It's
the
like, what were we on about?
this should be the genre of the podcast. Music, informative chat. It should be. We'll do it. Our own genre of podcast is just chatting.
Right. Ugh.
But no, it was a good gig. I enjoyed it.
My only letdown was that I was, deep inside of me, expecting Club Tropicana.
Yes, our easy lover.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is. You know what? I feel like that might be the only negative.
It's a core memory seeing them the first time we went to Corporation and seeing your mum get so excited when they did Club Tropicana and laughing. Like, her and my dad found it hilarious, and I didn't quite understand it at the time.
Yeah,
but now I do.
Oh god, I feel like they did. Did they do covers most shows?
Yeah, it was normally just one of those two, though.
Yeah. Bring it back. Petition for Club Tropicana.
At the Dome, they came on to, like, the recording of I'm Still Standing.
Yeah. Did they do that at
I think they
Corp?
did do it once, yeah. Bring back your covers.
Yes.
I'd like to request a McFly. I mean, they nearly did Fall Out Boy, didn't they?
That was funny. Again, the impromptu sort of comedic. Oh god, I wish we were Fall Out Boy. That was so funny. For why? For what reason?
They've definitely covered that song. It was too perfect to just be on the spot.
Exactly. Also,
They've done it.
Excitingly, I've been not sort of deep diving into FVK Twitter, but again, I've seen a Mr. Kemp and Mrs. Scene Queen interacting with each other.
I saw that.
Multiple times.
Mm.
Ta.
I'd love to see her get in. They could do Barbie and Ken.
Oh my god, yes! I never thought of that instead of the guy from
Set It Off.
Oh my god. That would be so good. And do you know what Harry was saying as well? That FVK reminds him of Ice Nine Kills.
Ooh.
Not sort of like directly, but like hints, like notes of.
They're one of those bands you can hear all the different genres that's gone into them.
Yeah.
I remember when I used to take an FVK song, like my bass teacher he loved it, but he hated it at the same time because I'd come in and it'd be like, what the hell is this? There's Queen, there's Muse,
there's everything.
Pop, what on earth is this? But he loved it at the same time. He was like, it's so unconventional, and I love it because it's not just like
the same sort of main.
Yeah, he's got like set songs that he normally teaches people, and I was like, I'm gonna bring in the songs that I want to do.
Yeah.
And he loved that. I miss him. He was a good teacher. I miss playing music.
Same. I do. I've been so nostalgic for music since the FVK gig. Like, I have been recently anyway, but I broke my electric acoustic. The bottom E string broke.
No.
I can't bring myself to restring it because I feel like I'm going to do a horrendous job. Even though I've done it before and I'm very capable of doing it, I love this guitar so much, even though it's a cheapo off Amazon.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a
Most
cute
my guitars
guitar.
are from charity shops.
And I love it so much. And I've not brought myself to do it.
No.
But I will.
My response when anyone says that they wanted their guitar restringed and they don't do it is, take it to me, Dad.
Yeah, true.
He'll do it. He likes messing with guitars.
I was gonna say my bass probably would do with a restringing.
He'd do that as well.
It hasn't been restrung since I bought it, but also basses don't get restrung. Are you for real?
I mean, the bass I learnt on my dad's Mikey, like, that bass is as old as I am, and I was playing it and it hadn't been restrung for a good 10 years, and it's only just been restrung not long since. I could have killed someone with those strings.
The rust, tetanus. Make sure you get your tetanus jabbed.
I mean, I might be wrongfully informed there. Maybe it has been restrung without me knowing. Who knows? I don't.
I love music.
Uh,
And I know
so,
why we're here.
yeah,
I just love
I
it
could
so much.
revisit my proposal to FVK. The Boopettes could also do Barbie and Ken.
Yeah.
Or, you could just write another song that just features us anyway. I'll just put us in a music video, please.
Yeah.
Just interact with us.
Please.
We need
We're
attention.
desperate.
Come on for a interview.
That would be good. That would be good.
We could interview you about different concert size, venue sizes.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm not just a pretty face.
I have brains as well. I'm glad you do because I don't.
I mean, there's definitely cobwebs up there.
Yeah. A hamster and a wheel that haven't been alive or used for quite a while.
It's just cotton candy. I don't even like cotton candy. I said to Matt the other day, in my brain, there's just a chimpanzee swinging around.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a possum just screaming.
Yep.
But yeah. Most of the time it's just a chimpanzee swinging around.
I feel like mine's just like a record player. And sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes the needle's not the right length to actually reach the record. But sometimes it plays the most random shit.
In my head at the minute, it's just, if you spell applesauce with
the
the
B's.
A's, that spells ah!
TikTok has rotten my brain.
Yeah.
But I love it.
I apologise because I think this could get quite loud, this podcast.
It's fine.
Sorry to people with earphones on.
Headphone warning.
Oops. Shall we talk about talking to a FK after the show then?
Yes.
It was strange but nice, wasn't it?
Very, yeah.
I wanted to tell them all they did a good job. I think we talked to Luke first, didn't we?
Yes.
Luke, bless him, solid lad. He asked me if I was still drumming. I said not so much. And then I said I write about journals, about music. He thought I said, you hate music now? I was like, no, I write about it. And then you said about the podcast, but I don't think he heard.
Nah, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Did you talk to Luke, like, in detail?
Not really. I didn't really talk to any of them in detail because, again, I'm a very awkward person that doesn't know how to interact with other people.
Yeah.
Which is why I work with animals. Because they don't care what you tell them. I think it was just sort of like a hi, how are you doing? Really good show. He's new. I did each one of them I met. I was like, he's new. Pay attention to him. And I was like, yeah, that's so cool. How are you doing, friend? He was like, yeah, I'm really good. It was a very good show. I think we maybe spoke to Drew the most. He was saying about how it was quite difficult to have all that time off and sort of get back into gigging. They had the one in London, but it's different when it's a comeback show to then having like a mini tour and getting into swing of things and COVID and stuff. He'd said that it was a bit of a struggle, but he's glad we all enjoyed it, and it's still, even now, like, what is it, 3 years later post COVID?
Yeah.
You're still seeing the aftermath of it, and not just like socially and mentally, but physically as well.
Yeah.
Sort of like the habits that we all picked up. It is difficult, but people are getting there. We're getting that bit of normal back, and like Drew said, it's a stretch, but they're getting there, and especially musicians that have been split up and they're getting back together, and getting back into the swing of things that way, and then plus the COVID as well. But they were all so grateful, all of them. Not one of them was, and I feel like they probably heard it 1,000 times from every single person that they spoke to. But I was just so thankful that, you can tell that they've matured and changed in that way, but they are still them.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters. And that's why we love them.
When I spoke to Drew, he spent most of the time just like looking at my t-shirt because I'd worn that t-shirt on purpose.
Weezer shirt. Yes, you did.
I did. I admit, I wore it on purpose.
That was the first. You noticed that whilst in a conversation with someone else, but he didn't want to say anything. I could see him looking, and he was like, "But I'm talking to someone else."
As he said, his Weezer senses were tingling.
Yes.
But basically, the t-shirt says "I love One Direction," but it's Weezer. It's just the funniest shirt ever. I don't care. Shane, did we talk to Shane?
I did, yeah.
I said like, well done on like getting on movies and things, and he was like thanking me, and I could see in his face he was like, I know you, but I don't know where I know you from.
Yeah. But it was nice because
Yeah.
I know Shane's still quite reserved and he gets anxious and stuff like that, but it's still nice that he makes the effort because, again, most bands wouldn't even stick around to meet people. Then to the extent that FVK do it, then added on that maybe you're quite nervous of people approaching you, and he still made conversation. You know, he was still grateful, and that is really nice.
I remember one time in rugby, I didn't know what to talk to Shane about, so I just showed him a picture of our Nemo and was like, this is my dog. And that's how old that story is, because he's dead. He's been dead a while.
What a good boy, though.
He was. And so is Shane.
Mm.
Kay was very drunk.
Yeah, you could, yeah.
And I was like, you did really well. And he was like, no, you did really well.
Again, we're all so obsessed with Harry. Like, Kia spoke to Harry for a good while. Like, just talking
He's a
about
very good looking lad, is Harry.
He is. I mean, I am with him.
You're the lucky lass.
But, like, you know, I spoke to Kia. I was like, hello, you know, good show. How are you doing? Are you doing all right?
Yeah.
I had a bit of a hug. And then he sort of looked at Harry and I was like, he's new. He's never been here before. Like, he didn't know who you were until me. And Kia was like, most of them were like, oh, that's really cool. Kia, obviously, maybe because he was a little bit tipsy, was like, oh my God, you're new? What? And they had sort of like a really good conversation, not just a, you know, thanks for coming, I hope you enjoyed it. It was really like, how did you find it? You know, how are you doing? Are you all right? You know, what do you do? You know, stuff like that. And it's so nice because they all seem so interested in you, and it's so nice.
Yeah.
It's not just a sort of like polite formality that they're sticking around to meet everyone because that's what they've always done and they're a smaller band and they were staying anyway, so they might as well. But they just, all of them seem so interested in what you had to say, and they were actually listening and talking rather than just going, yeah, let's take a picture, there you go, I'll sign your thing, bye. You know, it were really nice.
On that note,
yes,
let's talk about Lawrence. As soon as we approached him, his face lit up and he was like, is this the new fiance? Looking at Matt.
Yeah.
And he like shook his hand and welcomed him, and he was saying like how happy he was to see that I was engaged, and he was asking about the wedding.
Yeah.
And it was so personable, and
it really makes you feel like they're your friends, that like, you know, that even though we don't.
I'm still waiting for friends and family to acknowledge my engagement.
Yes.
And someone who I have not seen for 7 years, who has no obligation to take notice in me, remembered my face, and was genuinely happy for me.
Yeah.
It's that thing of you don't know who's cheering you on from afar.
Yeah, it's nice to think.
And he is someone who, what's it called when like you think you have like a friendship or something with them and they really don't know you exist.
Oh, like one-sided. What do they call it? I know what you mean.
Anyway, The way I've always thought about Lawrence was like the big brother I've always wanted. Like if I could pick a big brother, him.
Mm.
And obviously I've just said he inspires my writing and my music, and then to have that support, that love and support, it meant so much. I went home and cried, and in that moment I could also just, all I could say was I've missed you so much.
Yeah.
And give him a hug. Like I was stunned in a good way.
But it shows that they actually care. This is another thing about
does.
them. Like, they're good musicians, they're putting on a good show, you know, they're very polite people, but they genuinely care. And it doesn't matter what drama, because I know there was quite a bit of drama between, like, the fandom and doing stuff and just being not very nice towards them, or, you know.
Yeah.
But they're still so polite and they genuinely care. And it's so difficult because, like, you say this to people and, like, yeah, people are good at acting like they care, but you just get the vibes that they do genuinely care about every single person that comes to see the gigs, every single person that speaks to them. They genuinely give a shit. And it does mean a lot because, you know, a lot of bands that we grew up on have turned out to be not very nice people. And it's really difficult because they'll have banging tunes, but it's so difficult to separate the art from the artist. And when you get a band that's as rare as FVK that have got good songs, that are genuinely good people, it's, you hold on to it, you cling to it. And the gig sort of made me remember why I loved them so much and why I was so obsessive, because they're not like any other band that I know ever.
Yeah. Good boys. Good boys.
Good boys. We give them a treat.
Good boys. You get fandom for another year. I'm too happy to be able to form a sentence now, just remembering that.
Yeah.
And while we've been recording this, I've got some messages from Theo, who is a good boy and very supportive in the FVK fandom. I don't know if you know Theo, do you?
I'm not sure if I do.
He talked to me a bit. Like, I was stood next to him waiting to talk to Lawrence. And his fiance is like really tall man with a beard.
Yes, I remember. Yeah, because Harry spoke to them a little bit as well.
They're good. We shared a hotel with them in London to see them at the Dome, and we saw them at the Doncaster show that's not the Leopard, the other one that they did, and a bunch of Ashes to Angels shows as well. That was really good. He's a good boy.
Just so many good boys.
So many good boys. He's actually messaging to show support for the podcast as well.
Oh.
So, hi Theo.
Shout out to Theo.
We love Theo. So I suppose we should leave it there.
Yes.
Phyllis Vampire Killers, you are going to get tagged in the many posts we put on promoting this show. I know you'll see it. You saw my photography. I know you'll see it.
No pressure though. No pressure.
No pressure.
And
actually,
sure...
no.
Sorry.
Like, no pressure at all.
Yeah, I'm sure they get so much love and support in so many different forms and medias, and I'm sure this probably isn't any different to what they've been told before. So, you know, we're not expecting like big shout outs and massive followings coming from this, because we're not, because we do this because we like to do it. We like to talk about shit and we like to waffle, and especially music wise, but it's so hard not to talk about them and not sing the praises. So I don't
Tegan's just putting this in a nicer way than I'm going to put it. I'm putting it in a more demanding way.
Yeah, I don't want people to think that we're doing this for clout.
Yeah.
But again, you know, they're such a good band and we can't help but love them.
Yeah. I do mean it in a nice way. It just never comes out that way. But honestly, like, if you do want to be part of the show, I won't say no. Love you.
Kisses.
I mean, we do have some months coming up there. We're a bit bare, so if you'd like to save our show, no pressure. God, how do we finish this now?
No, it's very difficult.
We've got 26 minutes until I've used up all my minutes on the unpaid Zencaster.
My laptop is currently dying.
Oh no!
It's fine.
So
we're plugged in. We can spiel some more.
I was just about to say our thank yous.
Yes, yeah, we can wrap it up. Say thank yous.
So,
Thank you to
thank you. Sorry, go on.
Thank you to Kathy and Vicky.
Oh, thank you to
Always
you.
reminded me when we need to record because I'm horrible at timekeeping.
I'm
And for
classic Virgo bullying people into doing things.
and for listening to my spiels and for being a very good gig partner, and to FBK for letting us ramble and being a good set of boys and putting on a good show.
Putting on a good show.
Yes. Twins.
Our single brain cell zapped. Yeah, thank you to FBK, to Kathy, to Tiegan. Thank you to everyone that showed us some love on the podcast so far, at the show. I mean, Theo, going back to Theo also was like, if you want a photographer to go along with your journalism, I'll do it. I was like, oh. But anyway, thank you to Kia for doing his art as always, and thank you to everyone that's listening. If you enjoyed the show, please share it around. Please follow the social medias. It would mean a lot to us. And if you can go on Spotify, give us 5-star review. That would do us some good as well.
Yes.
Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Next week we'll be talking about opening artists. So Tiegan will be talking about Stone.
Woo.
I'll be talking about the Nightmares, and then we'll mention some others that we've become fans of through being opening acts. I don't know if we have any shows coming up to talk about that month either.
What month is it next month? April, May. I do not. I have some in June.
I think
May's
June is my next show.
Yeah. Oh no, wait, I've got Slam Dunk. I've got Slammy D on the 28th of May.
Well, we can talk about that in June anyway, because we'd have to record and I'd have to do the editing in like a day then.
That's fair. But yeah, Slammy D in May, and then we've got Muse, I believe, in June. Yes. And then Arctic Monkeys.
Right. So next week is probably just opening artists. Might see if I can get an interview in there then.
Yeah.
If you want to talk, if you're an artist, being an opening artist, and you want to be interviewed, please get in touch with us.
Yeah. Or even like messages or interact with social media about experience you've had as an opening artist.
Absolutely.
If you felt any pressures or, what it's like performing to a big crowd, stuff like that. We'd appreciate anything.
If you want to be a part at all as well, and you don't really have social media or anything, you can email us. It's booptunes23@outlook.com. We appreciate any involvement, any interaction. If you want to give us feedback, we're open to that as well. And I think that's it.
Yes.
So thank you again, and we'll see you next month.
Yes, see you next month.